Welcome everyone to Simply Bitcoin. We break down the news from Twitter, the daily fail, meme review, software releases, hardware releases, websites by Plebs. Drop us a like, subscribe. Joining us today is fellow toxic Bitcoiner and meme lord, Weinicus.
What's up?
Nice, thanks Weinicus. But he knows where we're going. We're going to the numbers. Let's do it. At the time of this recording, the block height is 699,960. The Bitcoin price, 44,630. Chain rewrite days, 877. Total public lightning capacity, 2,427.15 BTC sats per dollar, 2,241. And blocks to the halvening, 140,040. Look at that. A new all-time high for the public lightning capacity.
So close.
Yo, block height is also at an all-time high.
That is an awesome observation. And this is deja vu.
And this is exactly why Weinicus is our in-house meme creator person. Because
Smash that like button.
Smash that like button. Because he has
Never
these.
say that.
Which one?
We never really tell people to smash the like button.
I do it. We
Smash
do
it.
in the front. And
I mean, we do it at the
At the
beginning,
end.
at the end, but we never really sit there throughout the episode. You're in the middle of talking. It's like, boom, Nico finishes a rant. Smash that like button.
Oh,
boom, Weinicus smiles. Smash that like button. Like, we just don't do that, you know?
That's true. That's true.
We're just not like, I don't know, we're just not like smash button whores, you know?
True,
but
man.
I don't know, maybe we'll
Don't
see if
forget to
people want us to
subscribe.
be.
Smash that like button.
We'll see if people want us to be. Maybe they'll drop some comments and be like, yeah, we want you to say smash that like button more often, which I highly doubt.
So
It's already annoying. I'm already annoying. Okay, sorry, Nico.
So as you guys could tell, the numbers are boring as F. So this is what we do instead. Instead of shit posting on Twitter, we're shit talking on YouTube. Because
Maybe we could fight with Weinicus.
hey Weinicus, I don't like your.
Some of your
beard.
guys are
memes
mean.
aren't as good as your other good memes.
Yeah.
Stop being such mean Bitcoiners. Open your mind a little.
You're so toxic with the memes you make for us. People get offended, Weinicus.
Yeah.
We have to stand up for that shit.
You're just not ready for the truth.
Smash that like button.
Smash that like button. But yeah, guys, awesome day to to just keep stacking sats. Bitcoin's at a discount. It's under 50K in a couple years. In 4 years time, you're going to be telling your friends, I stack Bitcoin under 50K, and they're not going to believe you because that's how cheap it's going to sound. But anyways, Phil, it's time for
The daily fail. All right, so this was actually supposed to be part of the fail yesterday, but the thing is that we had such, great lengthy conversation that we just couldn't do all of them. So this was actually a BSV fail. I like how they get these accounts. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's just some random person who doesn't know any better. I've decided to sell. It's not an excuse. I'm just saying, it's like some small account. It's not some giant shill account, but let's dive in. I've decided to sell all of my BTC. I think a lot of people are going to get wrecked within the next year in crypto, and I'm not going to be around for it. Thanks to, yeah, that's right, Taleb, and so Taleb is the one who wrote the foreword for the Bitcoin Standard, but didn't actually read the book, and, pretty much recently got dumped on by the entire Bitcoin community and has since moved over to pretending that BSV is something that it's not. He's pretending it's not a scam anyways. And Kurt, who is a well-known BSV shill, pretends to be a quote-unquote Bitcoin historian. He's one of the people that I dump on for creating fake credentials and pretending that, he's a person of authority, which he's not. Anyways, and Kevin Healy for helping me see through the absurd propaganda from the Bitcoin community. That's right, our absurd propaganda. Buying a shitcoin that is run by a fraud, okay? A complete fraud who has been debunked so many times. Anyways. On that point, right? Take a look at this. The Bitcoin SV Technical Standards Committee. See, they have this thing, they call Bitcoin a fraud, but yet they put Bitcoin in all of their stuff. Like, look, the Bitcoin Association. Right? The Bitcoin Association. There's no frickin' Bitcoin Association. There's no such thing as that. So it's just ridiculous that they do this garbage. And it's so sickening, and it happens over and over again. And yes, it's a double-edged sword. We don't like to give it exposure, right? But at the same time, people need to hear the other side of it, because BSV is a complete scam. It is a shit fork of a shit fork, okay? And it's run by a complete fraud. And we've already shown the hash rate, which stays, it's like a flat line, right? It's just a flat red line that does nothing and goes down. So nobody is securing that network, okay? It's just a failed garbage intranet that parades around as some kind of technological breakthrough, and it's just absolute garbage and nonsense. And I hate that they do this. What are your thoughts?
Oh man, absolutely right, Phil. Look, listen, guys. Look, there is no such thing as a Bitcoin expert. There's no such thing as a Bitcoin historian. There's no such thing as a Bitcoin committee. Those are all remnants of the fiat system, right? So whenever you hear stuff like that, you know, Bitcoin was invented so that stuff wasn't necessary, right? You no longer have to deal with an intermediary. You could deal directly with the person that you're transacting with. So you don't need a committee, right? You don't need experts. You don't need historians, right? Look, a lot of people could say that me and Phil and Weinicus as well are highly knowledgeable on Bitcoin, but we would never call ourselves experts. How could you be an expert in Bitcoin, right? Everyone has different perspectives on it. And again, you know, the issue with calling yourself a historian or, an expert, right, is that it's like you're credentializing yourself, right? You're giving yourself, you know, more, you know, to make people believe in you, right? And that's not what Bitcoin's about, right? And yeah, man, it's the opposite of what Bitcoin represents. And look, just to you know, talk shit about Craig a little bit. How did those lawsuits work out for you now that BSV is sitting at 56 on market cap? Didn't seem like those lawsuits helped very much with that 51% attack. So yeah, man. Just guys, buy Bitcoin. Ignore the shitcoins. What do you think, Weinicus?
I'm just really sad that Spencer sold all his Bitcoin. I can't believe it. Like, I just really wish that he kept his Bitcoin, but you know what? Guess what? We bought it. And he says a big crash is coming, but guess what? His unit of account is wrong. And we've held through 80% crashes, and we don't care. So have fun staying poor.
Have fun staying poor. Hell yeah. All right. Phil, talk to me about your next fail. I'm excited.
Yes.
I'm excited.
All right, let's get into it. Okay, so everybody has been, I'm sure, or a lot of Bitcoiners have been interacting with Chris Sky. For the people who don't know who Chris Sky is, he does TikTok videos, and you know, he's kind of had he got arrested, and he had some videos that went viral, you know, about essentially quote unquote standing up to, you know, governments and the system and all that good stuff. Anyways, so for us anyways, certain Bitcoiners, right, we appreciate that 100%, right? We kind of like that, you know, liberation, freedom, personal responsibility. All right, good stuff. So posted this. Remember when I said your digital passport would be merged with your digital identity and eventually digital currency? Well, all right. Then he has this. Ontario prepares to launch digital ID program, and here's how it works. Okay. Anyways, so there's some accounts that got blocked and whatnot, but obviously this conversation with Bitcoiners evolves always into talking about Bitcoin. And Chris Sky says this: I hold multiple crypto. Okay. So, our boy, Vikingo, goes, I'm still a big fan, though. This is very disappointing. Bitcoin is the only one that is for the people and not for the oligarchs. Here we go. Bitcoin potential for growth is nil compared to other coins, some of which will make insane investments. It's about diversifying your assets. If you want 100% Bitcoin and no other assets, pretty short-sighted. Wrong. Does not get it and immediately fails, right? And from here, I had to comment. Okay, but look, I believe I was polite. Sadly, you may have great rhetoric, but you don't understand sound money yet. Keep digging. The answer is not the shit coins. These only serve to trick you out of BTC. Here's a start. And I give him a link to 21 lessons and everyone's a scammer. Which, don't get me wrong, like, that's pretty much what I give everybody as my 2 default things to go to start with. Okay? Because really, the first thing you got to do is realize that everyone's a scammer, and I think that, like, 21 Lessons is like a great overall view of everything, including the philosophy. But the point is that he didn't, like, I mean, obviously, you know, I'm nobody, did not like my tweet, did not respond, nothing. And of course, I'm sure did not follow up on that. Right? Like, doesn't actually, I don't think he actually wants to learn about Bitcoin. He just wants to hold his shit coins and, like, pretend like he's fixing things. So right away, this guy, like, I'm sorry, if you're a serious activist and you're talking about changing things. So look, so this continues, right? I'm gonna digress here a little bit. Okay. And here we go. Okay. This was Surfer Jim that added Chris, and goes, your money represents your labor, your sweat, your sacrifice. It should be yours. If you're a human rights activist and you're not relentlessly fighting for monetary sovereignty and financial fairness for all, are you really fighting the most important fight? And he adds Chris, right? And here we go. The most important fight at the moment is stopping the vax passport, ending business closures, period. Then you can worry about the monetary system.
No,
he doesn't
no.
get it.
No,
he doesn't,
no,
right?
No.
Doesn't get, like, it's, it doesn't get it. Doesn't get it. Okay? And then, okay. And then here we go.
Oh my God.
Yeah, this is where we get. So immediately, instead of looking into any of the actual positive tweets that he got providing him further information, we get I never knew the BTC world was filled with basement-dwelling man-children pretending they are playing Revolution by purchasing BTC and calling people names. Okay? But in the meantime, we're basement-dwelling man-children. Anyways, nobody has been able to actually tell me one thing they have done to help people or end lockdowns. Pompous and impotent. Like you asshat. We're sucking money out of the system and taking it out of the central bankers. Why do you think there is so much opposition to Bitcoin? Like, how do you miss this? And you know what it is? I think it's because he wants it to be about him.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
Hey.
Max Kaiser calls them I'm sorry, Phil, go ahead.
No, continue.
Max Kaiser calls them egomaniacs. You know, you see the same thing with Mark Cuban, right? They can't stand the fact that it's not about them. It's about Bitcoin. Bitcoin is bigger than all of us, right? And the fact that he's not at the head of that makes him absolutely crazy. Anyways, I'm going to contain myself before I explode, but keep going.
Okay, so then, right, he starts pulling this garbage. I am now convinced BTC stands for basement trolling children. Okay?
That is pretty funny, though. I'm not
Yeah.
gonna lie.
I know. I think that's a pretty good one. I'm like, we never thought of that one. I like that. I appreciate that. You know, that's funny. Anyways, so, you know, Ruben writes back, fellow Bitcoiner, you have a fragile ego. You have to decide whether we have billions but give nothing to your cause, or we're just children in basements. And again, you know, he goes back to the billionaires. Billionaires would hold assets besides BTC. So right there, you're just assuming, like, you're making this giant assumption that somebody who, you know, is worth a certain amount would have, you know, what you envision them to be a billionaire like. It's just ridiculous garbage. I honestly, I'm so saddened by this. Within minutes, Nico, he just de-evolved into no joke, he disappeared into his own ass. Like there's very few people that I've actually said that, and that's what happened. He just disappeared into his own ass. Like, I can't believe that happened. Why? Like, you immediately you're talking about, you know, you're talking about freedom. Okay, you're talking about ending the vax passports. Like, do you really not see the bigger picture? And if you're not seeing the bigger picture, then that tells me that there's two things. Either you're blind, right, which is perfectly fine, right? We don't know what we don't know, which I don't think is the case. Or you're just being willfully ignorant because you want the show to be about you.
Dude,
that's all I've got.
Man,
you know?
You're absolutely right. And look, Chris Guy, obviously, you know what Max Kaiser always says, he's an egomaniac. And look, Bitcoin fixes the problems we have now, right? Because the reason that the state is able to do this, the reason that the state is able to have these draconian lockdowns, right, is because they control the money, right? None of those government employees are going to lose their salary, their paycheck. They're going to keep getting paid. Why? Because they control the money printer. So he doesn't understand, maybe because of his ego, it's getting in the way, that the way that you solve the totalitarianism that's happening right now is to take the money out of the hands of the politicians. That's how you fix all this. You take away their ability to pay for everything that's happening, right? That's how you fix this. We have to separate money from state, or endless wars, and these types of lockdowns are going to continue happening. Weinicus, what do you think?
I mean, he started off talking about digital IDs, and that's really like the end game that we're trying to avoid. Like, cool, you're going to riot with your friends and get businesses to be brave and not wear masks. Well, guess what? They'll just freeze your bank account.
Exactly.
You're using their currencies. And the stuff that you're diversifying in, what are you trying to do? Make Canadian dollars or make US dollars or whatever fiat currency it is? That just puts them at the control. So, I mean, you're fighting the wrong battle. You're trying to win a battle. You're losing the war.
You're fighting the battle with their tools. You know what I'm saying? Like,
and not only that, but you're also playing on their board.
Yes.
You know, so it's kind of rigged. Like, he doesn't see that he needs censorship-resistant money yet. That's the problem. Like, he doesn't get the root cause of it all. He thinks like there was another tweet about him talking about, you know, being an activist and getting a bunch of lawyers together and all of this stuff. Look, it's fine and dandy. At the end of the day, you know, you want to get these people together, but like, I don't think you have their hearts and minds. And if you don't have their hearts and minds, you are not going to win against this machine, because this machine has been controlling the money for hundreds of years. You know, like you think you're fighting the Vax passport. You are not. Like, you misunderstand what is really happening. Sorry, Weinicus.
You cannot. Go ahead, Weinicus.
Spoke about diversification and having different cryptos and all this stuff. It's like the only reason that people are diversifying is because they're trying to preserve their wealth in the shitty fiat currency that they're earning, and they're looking for ways for it to save its value. So he doesn't realize that Bitcoin is something that can't be inflated away, and it can't be censored, and that's really all that matters at the end of the day.
And it's unconfiscatable, right? So if you're fighting these fights, right, you know what? I'm going to steal Phil's line. Bitcoin is the money of enemies, right? And if you are trying to fight, you know, the state and their measures, right, you want a money that they can't confiscate. You know, that's just the reality of it, right? So, you know, he's either going to have fun staying poor, or he's going to buy in later down the road. I suspect he's going to buy in later down the road. Everyone gets the price they deserve. Phil, it's time for
the Daily Meme Review, sponsored by
Citadel 21. All right, everybody, the meme for today is brought to us by a meme legend. He tricked all the mainstream media. Epic guy. Check it out. It's by Gigasma2, or Lesamia if you want to say it in French. Definitely give him a follow. Anyways, check it out. Surveillance society, censorship, 25% inflation, CBDCs, UBI, digital ID, money printer go burr, funding war, Cantillon effect, Chris Sky doing protest. Amazing meme. And because it was such a good meme, Phil, I'm going to give it a very special score that I think is very appropriate for this. I'm going to give it the P key. And that's the key they press at the Fed to print those cuck bucks. What would you give that meme, Phil?
Creative.
Yes, very creative, very deep, philosophical. I like it, Nico. You may have stolen the show tonight. All right, well, you know what? I thought it was hilarious. Thought it was appropriate. I am going with this is one of the tools from my iFixit kit.
Cool. Another one of Phil's gadgets. He's got so many. Weinicus, what would you give that meme?
Well, I liked your score. The P key can also stand for Peen Smash Buy. Shout out Dennis. But I'm going to give my score Egg Salad, a.k.a. Chunky Mayo.
Oh,
you'll have to ask me why one day.
Dude, I've been keeping up with you on Twitter, so I suspect why, but you guys are going to have to stay tuned if you want to find out more about Weinicus's cryptic.
I don't know if you're ready for the truth, but...
Am I ready? I don't know. Anyways, Phil, it's time for...
The Daily News, sponsored by...
Crypto Cloaks.
All right, guys, this is another Simply Bitcoin We Told You So moment. We've been covering this about how governments are going to continue overstepping to get ready for central bank digital currencies. They want to surveil every aspect of your life. Check out this tweet by Nick Carter. It's very simple. The government believes that it should have insight into every single financial transaction with no exceptions. If you reject this and demand the same assurances that were completely standard for cash pre-1970, you are considered a criminal. Now, it's funny because when they pass this $10,000 recording requirement back in the 1970s, if you adjust for inflation, that's the equivalent to about $60,000 today. So that's what the government does. It passes these laws and incrementally, right, it gets more totalitarian over time, right? But check this out. Currently, banks are required to report deposits of $10,000 or more to the IRS. The Biden administration is trying to change it to all transactions on accounts with $600 or more. Why? Because you're a domestic terrorist. We've said those exact words. By the way, for anyone who's interested in the legalese, we're going to put it down in the link description. Here's the source. But anyways, moving on. Check how nefarious this is. I'm going to tie it in to what we were just talking about. The collapse of the fixed exchange rates shook the world in 1971. They're blaming the collapse in fixed exchange rates on some system. But they don't mention that it was because Richard Nixon took us off the gold standard. But anyways, the thing goes on to say, pave the way for the modern international monetary system as we contemplate how the digital age may further alter the system that past holds some lessons. Again, guys, you have the mainstream incepting you with this idea of CBDCs, which is going to allow governments to have total control over your life. Here is just a glimpse. Every single transaction of $600 or more is going to be reported to the government. And you could see how that's going to be abused. They don't like that you didn't take the jab. Cut your money. They don't like that you walked across the street. Automatic fine. They will control your life. Anyways, check this out. This article by Business Insider. It's posted on MSN.com. Central banks must roll up their sleeves and urgently speed up their work on their own digital currencies before Bitcoin and shitcoins upend the current financial system. The reason that banks are moving up with the central bank digital currencies is because they know that Bitcoin is a threat. The article goes on to say the Bank for International Settlements is urging central banks to crank up their efforts in developing their own digital currencies while the current financial system is still in place because stable coins and Bitcoin and shitcoins are already a reality. I'm not going to even try to pronounce that name, but he's an evil person because he works for the central banks, who is head of the BIS Innovation Hub. Central bank digital currencies, CBDCs, should be easy to use, low cost, convertible, offer instant settlement, continuously available, and offer a high degree of security, resilience, flexibility, and safety. Nowhere there is freedom mentioned. Anyways, check out and look, and this isn't just articles talking about this. This is a post by the Bank of Canada, right? And again, they're worried that Bitcoin is going to eat their lunch, and it is. You want to know why, guys? Because open systems always beat closed systems. And Bitcoin is the internet, while CBDCs are the intranet. Anyways, the Bank of Canada has a vision to be a leading central bank, dynamic, engaged, trusted, committed to a better Canada. No other employer in the country offers you the unique opportunity to work at the very center of Canada's economy. Okay, a lot of noise, but there's the signal. If you work here, you essentially play God and are allowed to manipulate the economy of Canada. They're revealing what the central bank does. In a diverse, inclusive organization with significant impact on the economic and financial well-beings of all Canadians. This is how fucking crazy these people are. No matter how much Bitcoin you have, no matter how many miners you have, you do not have influence over the Bitcoin network. Everyone is free. It's rules without rulers. These people fundamentally believe that they know what's best for everybody. And it's describing it there in the job description. The project. The Bank of Canada is embarking on a program of major social significance to design a contingent system for a central bank digital currency, which can be thought of as a banknote, but in digital form. Now, again, lots of noise, but here is the signal. We aim to design a central bank digital currency with cash-like properties in digital form. Private, again, they call it private because they want the normies to buy into the fact that if you use a central bank digital currency, it's going to give you privacy. But the devil's in the details. While not aiming for cash-like anonymity, central bank digital currencies should be highly private, yet meet the obligation to be compliant with anti-money laundering and other regulations. They're telling you two things there. Trust us. We're not going to abuse it. We're not gonna abuse your privacy, but at the same time, right, they're leaving in a back door. Why? Because they're saying we're still going to be able to fight money laundering. And we've covered that the money laundering is really to essentially try to milk as much money out of compliant businesses than it is to actually fight crime. This is about control. And again, they're incepting you that cash is bad because it offers anonymity, right? And check this out, right? Connect the dots. Here's an article by the Wall Street Journal, right? Digital currencies pave way for deeply negative interest rates. So essentially what central bank digital currencies are going to allow them to do is essentially, if they don't like that you're saving in cash in your bank account, guess what? They're going to charge you a negative interest rate because they want you to spend, because that's how the fiat system works. It's broken. And again, they're incepting you with this idea that a cashless society would be a good thing. This is the Wall Street Journal. This is the tippity top of the fiat propaganda machine. Look at this. Look at this. There's even an image of a dollar being digitalized. They don't want the paper because that takes away their power. The main monetary power of the digital dollar comes from the abolition of banknotes. If people can't hoard physical money, it becomes much easier to cut interest rates far below zero. Otherwise, the zero rate on banknotes stuffed under the mattress looks attractive. And if interest rates could go far below zero, monetary policy is suddenly more powerful and better suited to tackle deflation. Meaning they don't want you to save. These people are psychopaths. Anyways, moves on to the article, moves on to say, resistance, this is even more fucked up. Resistance from politicians and the public would make policymakers cautious about such radical policies, and some central bankers already worried about the side effects from prolonged periods of negative interest rates. But as there he is again, who oversaw bond buying while at the ECB, could tell you what once seemed to be an impossibly extreme monetary policy can quickly become the norm. Why? Because they're gonna shove it down our fucking throats. That's why. And you know the only way out is Bitcoin, baby. Anyways, moving on to what Alex Gladstein had to say, which is why I ran into the Wall Street Journal, right? He covers it all in this thread. His last thought was, the entire article is basically a discussion of how governments and central banks can/will reduce the financial freedoms of citizens to prop up ever devaluing state debt. Thankfully, individuals worldwide have the option of peacefully protesting this and opting out into Bitcoin. And that's exactly what the world is doing. And you know what, guys? They're really scared. Here is a tweet by Nayib Bukele, and he's linking a CNBC article of which they deleted because it got so much traction. And let me show you what that article was. El Salvador's new Bitcoin wallets cost Western Union and similar companies $400 million a year. Now, let me read it the way it should be said. El Salvador's new Bitcoin wallet is saving El Salvadorians $400 million a year. But this article wants to focus on the fact that a Western country is losing $400 million a year. But the people of El Salvador, about 23% of their economy runs on remittances, and about 70% of the population doesn't even have a bank account. They don't want to mention that, of course. But this is messed up. This is about a fight for freedom, and the powers that be, that's what they want you to be. They want you to be slaves. They're laying it out. They're showing it to you. They don't even hide it anymore. We've gotten to that point. But there is hope, and that hope is in El Salvador. And in the next 4 years, because of Bitcoin's incentives, more countries are going to follow suit. Phil?
I don't understand something, though. I mean, all those tweets from Steve Hanke showing how much he cares about El Salvador. You'd think that all these outlets would be thrilled that these people are finally getting getting a break, on getting to do something, which to me seems like it shouldn't cost that much, really. So I don't get it. But look, man, you just took us through a really painful story that honestly looks, scary AF. And every time you show these stories, I'm just more bullish on Bitcoin, and I'm just happier that it exists. I'm actually thrilled that they're this afraid of it. Okay, I'm surprised that people like Chris Sky aren't paying attention to how afraid they are of it. Okay, because that should give him a really good indicator of where the real action is at if he wants to fix these vax passports. But man, I mean, this is just absolutely disgusting, right? Like the wording that they use, the way that they use it, like the cash-like anonymity, what's wrong with that? Well, what's absolutely wrong remember, right? Money is language. It's a form of language. And there's free speech. So there should be some layer of anonymity if you so choose. I don't... Anyways, I think that they're absolutely disgusting. I think you're absolutely right with them just shoving it down our throats. That's 100% what they are doing and what they're going to do. That's why it's all happening, I think, at the exact same time, right? Like, they kind of, we talk about this a lot where, people mess up the time horizons, right? We're not really good at predicting the time horizons. But I think that their selfishness and their greed, they're wanting to push this as quickly as possible. Like, they want to use COVID to throw everything but the kitchen sink at this thing. It's like, we are going to enslave everyone. We're going to replace all the money to make it all controllable. And we're going to do this all in one shot, and I totally think that Bitcoin is that thorn in their side. Yeah. I really do. Bitcoin is that thorn, that thing that they cannot get rid of. And they won't be able to, because there's too many of us that desire personal freedom.
Absolutely, and I think that's so important, that point, Phil, is that so many of us are willing to die on this hill. So many of us have already taken the orange pill. We will not go back to a system in which someone else holds my wealth, someone else holds my future in their hands. They don't deserve it. They've proven they don't deserve it, and they're using the everything that's going on in the world right now as an excuse to hide their giant monetary default, to try to implement this new system, to try to shove it down our throats. But Weinicus, what do you think? Do you think we're crazy? Are we seeing things that are not there?
I mean, I just wanted to touch on one of the first things you brought up, where they want you to disclose $600 worth of deposits. Like, that's going to buy you a bowl of egg salad in the very near future. So they want you to transact, and everything that you buy, they know about, right? There's no such thing as privacy anymore, and they have complete control over your movement, your purchasing power, what you can buy, where you can buy it. They want to know everything about you, and it's just complete evil. Like, I don't get how people are this messed up. It's weird to think about.
It's evil people, man. These families, you know, that control the money printing. They've been in power. We had Laser Hodl. He explained it beautifully yesterday. They've had this power for hundreds of years, you know. So and now it's becoming obvious because of the internet and because of Bitcoin. It's woken up people to the scam of what they've been doing to humanity for so long. Phil, any closing thoughts?
I'm just absolutely disgusted. I really am. And you know, the more I think about this, to Weineckis's point, right, about the you know, the $600, like, so what is it exactly, like, why that number, right? It's just high enough for what? And it's just low enough to be annoying. And it's just low enough to pretty much catch a whole lot in their net that they could sift through, you know? Like, it's... Ah, man, it's so depressing. And again, right, what really is depressing is that this is like another human being that came up with this, that thinks that this is a good idea, that somehow, because of the incentive system, believes that they're helping. They're helping themselves, right, because they're earning their paycheck, and at the same time, somehow they've conned themselves into thinking that what they're doing is somehow okay. You know, not realizing that one day their own family could get caught in the net that they create. Somebody that they actually give a shit about gets caught in that net, you know?
It's evil. It's evil. And remember, guys, every time you buy Bitcoin, every single time you buy Bitcoin and you take it off the exchange and you put it into your own custody, you are defunding these freaking psychopaths and you're taking their ability to hurt other people. Take the goddamn orange coin, take your sovereignty back, fight for freedom, and you do it in a peaceful manner by buying Bitcoin. But anyways, Phil, there was a software release today. Why don't you tell everybody about it?
Software releases. All right, we've got the Simple Bitcoin Wallet version 2.0.9. That's a Bitcoin wallet, and that is down below in the show notes. Check it out.
Awesome. Thank you, Phil. It's not complicated.
No, simple.
It's a simple Bitcoin wallet.
That's why.
Simply Bitcoin.
Simply Bitcoin.
Not our wallets.
It's not our wallet. But it's not a complex wallet. It's just
It's Bitcoin's wallet.
It's a simple Bitcoin wallet. Anyways, guys, I want to give a shout out to our awesome sponsors. Check out cryptocloaks.com for the best 3D printed Bitcoin merch. Get yourself a Bitcoin grenade. Now he has a really big one. And of course, use the link down below for 5% off anything on the score. And of course, check out Citadel 21 for the best Bitcoin Plebs signal written by Plebs for Plebs. Me and Phil have written articles for them. They're awesome. Get yourself a copy. There's only 1,000 made per volume. Check it out, citadel21.com. Also, check out our awesome in-house meme lord, guest, Weinekiss. Go give him a follow at Weinekiss on the Twitter. And of course, guys, that was our show. If you enjoyed the show, you know what to do. Smash that like button. Smash it. Yeah, smash it. And of course, if you want to continue hearing the Bitcoin news from the pleb perspective and the catastrophic, oh my God, there's so many. Chris Sky, fiat economists, the world economic people, the central bankers. I'm going to be here for an hour if I name them all. All of them, all the fails. Definitely consider subscribing, and we will see you tomorrow, guys, for another episode of Simply Bitcoin.
Bet you didn't think we'd be living in a psyop.